What do you think? Do I just t-shirt or this cardigan?
Good morning, Birmingham. She's getting changed. You have to just pan out shot. We're in Birmingham. Darragh is competing today in the PCA first timers classic physique. It's been an interesting prep because when he started it was men's physique, and then as it went on I was like, you are not men's physique, you are classic. So just picked him up from his hotel, took him to get his tan done, had a little look at him. Fantastic, glutes are in, I'm very pleased. More of the same for the next couple of hours, and he'll be on pretty early, so if we can just hold this level of what's going on now, that'd be sweet. Oh, we've had breakfast, we've checked out, and now the town hall is upon us. So Darragh will be on, he's literally second class. Classic, first timers, I think he'll be in the tall class. They only do short and tall at PCA, so he's number 14, which is, as he's just told me, lucky number 7 times 2, so that's good. I'm a bit nervous now, to be fair. He looked very good this morning though, so all is well.
This is fine. One more. The tall class.
Go on, Darragh! Go on, Darragh!
Go on, Darragh!
Gentlemen, please ensure that you have sufficient distance. Please space out. Competitors, you are now being judged. Front double biceps.
Go on, Darragh!
Go on, Darragh!
Lat spread.
Good!
Side chest.
Keep it tight!
Side tricep. Back double biceps.
Glutes, Darragh! Pull them in! Good!
It's abdominals and a thigh.
Good, Darragh! Good!
Most muscular.
Good, Darragh. Keep that tight. Show us now, Darragh. Come on. Good.
Competitor number 15 and 16, please switch. Competitor number 14 and 33, please switch.
Go on,
Gentlemen, please
Darragh!
ensure that you have sufficient space. Thank you. Front double biceps.
Good.
So we're in 4th position, athlete number 14, Darragh.
Woo!
Well done, Darragh. Alright, we're out. That was very nerve-wracking. I'm very red, like a tomato. 4th place for Darragh, 4th out of 9, is it 9? 9 or 10. 1st, 2nd, 3rd were all massive, very big guys. I'm a bit shocked that they are remotely first timers, but they were, so it's fine. I reckon they're going on to the Open. The guy that won was pretty special as well, so Darragh had himself 4th or 5th backstage, so to take 4th he's happy. I think he was 3rd, and then I think in the routine the guy who was in 4th I think overtook him again, pure size, but he's happy, he's very happy. Have to remember that we started this prep thinking it was going to be men's physique, and then we've jumped into classic, so it's good. He knows what he needs to do, more size, he's young, so we'll push on, and then next will be 2 rows. Jesus Christ, mate, this man's a machine. Hello. Right, YouTube. Firstly, a little bit of backstory. So, had a bit of a mare with my with the whole YouTube thing actually. So, firstly, the screws on the screen of this camera, one side, are falling out. So the screen's hanging off by a thread. So the screwdriver comes today to get that fixed. The second thing is, I went home last week and as I was packing my Mac up, I was pushing it in the box, into polystyrene into the box. I was thinking, it's not going in very easily. Why is that? Anyway, as you do, you just force it in. And as I got home, I realised why it wasn't going in smoothly. It's because the memory card was in the back of the Mac. So I was pushing the memory card into the polystyrene, which obviously didn't fare very well. So the memory card's all bent up. I will try and salvage anything from it that I can, because I'd recorded quite a lot on it. Anyway, new video today. This one is going to be about gym hacks. I'm basically going to take you through what I've got in my gym bag, because I want to show you all the things that we take, because my gym bag's evolved quite a lot over the last few years. So I'm going to show you all the things I've got in there. I'm going to show you how I set it up when I'm in the gym. So within the Nike gym bag we have knee sleeves, not knee wraps, D-handles, an original Crayford weights blue cloth that I need to put back in their wash bin, 1 MR cuffs, 2 nylon slings, I believe they're 30 centimeters, occlusion bands, 2 carabiners. I've actually got 3 in here, but you definitely need 2, and then of course bands. So big point of contention at the moment, aren't they? Banding and reverse banding. I'm going to take you through how we're setting up some movements using the bands, whether that is banding, reverse banding, how to get the most out of it, why we're doing it, and also how to use your daisy chains to make sure that you don't go snapping your bands. Right, so we're going to do a little walkthrough on the rest of this video, hence me popping up in the bottom corner here. So I'm going to take you through the rest of this video, talking you through what I'm doing in the gym, why I'm doing it, and hopefully help you learn something. First thing you're seeing is 2 ropes. We're going to use these 2 ropes for dual rope pull downs to warm up the back, get the back primed, and make sure I can really connect with the back. The reason we use 2 ropes instead of 1 is so that we can align much better with that actual natural path of motion that my arm and my shoulder wants to go in. If we use a single rope, we're kind of stuck here in the middle. And the same goes for triceps actually. If you stood up and you just straightened your arms and you saw where they went, guess what? It's not going to be in here, it's going to be out here. So that's what we're doing. We're allowing that natural path of motion so that I can really wrap my elbows around the back, get my lat into that shortened position, and spend a little bit of time there to make sure that it's primed and ready to start the back session. And then we're good to move into my first back movement, which is not actually my plan, but I'm showing you what I'm doing anyway. So here we're picking up a D handle and a nylon sling, that's what the little grey thing's called. I'm looping it through the D ring on the D handle and then pulling it through so that it attaches itself, and then putting it on a pull-up bar. So what we're doing here, essentially, rather than using that fixed bar, we're going to use these D handles that allow natural rotation of the wrists the elbows, and again allows me to align better with how my lat actually wants to move. The function of the lat is to go through shoulder extension and flexion, so through here, okay? It's not to go through here. Next up, we're going to do a reverse banded Smith press. So what you're going to need here is one band, one daisy chain, and I'm using a nylon sling and a carabiner here because the nylon sling is not quite long enough. So again, I've done the thing where I've looped it through the nylon sling just to really elongate the nylon sling. That's all I'm doing there. And then I'm going to clip the carabiner on one end, and then obviously I'm going to loop it over the top of the machine and clip it onto the other end of the nylon sling. What you see me doing here is looping the band under the bar, and then what I'm doing is feeding the carabiner through the two hoops at the top to make sure that it stays secure. And you'll see as I move into this set, when the band turns on, this is, I believe, just about perfect in terms of setup. You can see there's no assistance at the top there. It comes in about midway through the rep, and then it's obviously maximally helping me right at the bottom where I'm weakest and the movement is potentially heaviest. The band not only makes the resistance profile congruent to my strength profile, it also reduces the inertia, so it stops me flying that bar down. It's going to slow the bar down naturally, which is another benefit of using that. And then we're going to move into, very, very quickly, all we're doing here with the D handle on the chest press is literally bringing that start position into a bit more of a comfortable position for me. Then we've got a standing D handle cable curl. Pretty standard movement again though. This is just to allow free movement of the wrist rather than fixing them on that bar. You'll hear a lot of people complain when they're doing bicep curls, oh, my wrists are hurting, my elbows are hurting. Use some free moving D handles and you're more than likely going to alleviate that issue. You're allowing the wrists to do what they want. They can curl freely as they go up and down, and you're all good to go. Now, the big daddies. The big daddies. Probably the one that I get the most questions on. And probably the one that's most fucked up, I would say, on the whole, from what I see. This is the one that most people are getting wrong. It's the one where most people are gonna snap their bands when it comes to it. And it's the one that I think is probably the most important to get right. Obviously what I'm talking about here is the lower body. What we're gonna look at first is the Cybex hack squat. Now, it's important to remember not all hack squats are created equally. Okay, so we've got the Cybex hack squat here, which has the two weight pins that kind of sit underneath the seat. At the back, you've got this metal bar that runs across, as you will have seen in the video. So you can see that black metal bar that runs across the back, and then the weight pins, the silver weight pins that run across. Rather than looping the band over the top of the machine and then round the shoulder pads, which I don't believe will give you too much support, if I'm quite honest, and also eventually will end up snapping your band. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my band and round through one end of it. I'm going to loop my daisy chain through, and then I'm going to clip the carabiner in on the soonest hole I can. I'm then going to take the band and loop it over and under that bar at the back of the machine, and then what you've got is this other loop at the other end of the band. I'm going to loop my daisy chain around that, and then I'm going to loop that end around the other weight pin. So what I think you've got here is a pretty nice even distribution of weight. It's still one band, but it's kind of split into two, if you like. I do believe this provides more support than looping it around the head. Of course it does, you're effectively using two bands, but you can see here again, it turns on just as you go into that kind of mid portion of the rep, so no support at the top, and then as you see Josh descends here, it turns on. So that's how I do it. Whether it's the right, the wrong way, too much, too little, who knows, but it's the way I do it. And it's important to note that you make sure you get that consistent, because you get that inconsistent, as we found out in this mesocycle, and you really mess yourself up. You'll be tracking 6 plates, and then 6 plates suddenly feels horrendous, you only get 4 reps. So that's that. Now, the leg press. Now this is the most complicated. And this one I'd say is more concerning when people get it wrong, because there's even more risk of you ruining the integrity of your band. And number 2, I just think a lot of people band this up, and it's really giving them nothing. It essentially might as well not be there. So when someone uses one band and they just loop it around the whole machine, I just don't believe that's giving you much tension. The way we're going to show you here is going to give you plenty of tension, and it's really going to make this a very nice movement. So what we're going to do here, as I said, is most complicated. You've got your band, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to half the band. So we're going to fold the band in half, and then obviously you're going to have 2 loops at the top and then 1 loop at the bottom. through either the top loops or the bottom loop. I'm looping again the daisy chain and the carabiner, and then I'm then gonna clip that around the first weight peg, right? So that is then done. You may need to adjust that more or less based on how much tension you want. Around the other end, so on the bottom half of the band, I'm looping my nylon sling around. You don't need a carabiner for this because you're looping it around, and then that's going to fix on the handle. Okay, and as you can see, as I try that tension there, it's pretty tense. There's quite a lot of tension on that band, and that's obviously before we've even lifted it off. Okay, so as I said, you may need to adjust this back, back and forth to see how much band tension you want, but that band's pretty taut as I just smack it there at the end. And then, as you can see, as I go into the set, I think I adjusted it further because, as you can see, at the bottom of the rep, when my quads are lengthened, when I'm weakest, there's no band tension there. And then as I drive out, it's obviously a multi-joint movement, so there's a lot going on here. But as I drive out through my heels, the band gets tighter and tighter, and then it's really through that kind of last third of the rep. It's given me it's probably the last half of the rep actually. It's given me quite a lot of resistance. And I think that is an ideal way to band a machine. So you've got 2 green bands doubled over. I believe that's going to give you a lot of tension. So there you go. I hope that video was helpful. I'm going to leave it there. You've had a nice little walkthrough there of some things that I do in the gym to kind of optimize machines, make them better, harder, easier, more optimal, and so on. So I hope you found it useful. Let me know in the comments if you've got any questions on any of that. But I'll leave it there. I'll speak to you soon.